So, we are here tonight with Brian Tuttle, the artistic director of 1111 Theater, a Boston fringe theater company that was begun how many years ago?
10.
So tell us, Brian, about how 1111 came to be.
1111 came to be when I was a freshman in college. I got to this department at a school in Ohio, and I was going to Bowling Green State University. The department told me, we don't do very many productions, not a lot's going on, and we don't encourage much. And so I went and started a theater company with a friend at a pizza parlor, and a month later, our first show went up. So that's kind of how it got started. We literally cast from the people around sitting at a pizza shop, and our first show got a standing ovation. So that's how we got it started. So.
And is that why you keep with intimate theater, because of the roots you have in that pizza shop?
Yeah, and also it's just what I like. I like telling stories that the focus really is the story. First of all, we couldn't ever afford the pomp and circumstance of doing big theater. But an intimate story, I think everyone involved in 1111 at some time or another has really enjoyed just being close to the audience. That's the difference between theater and film, to me, is the immediacy of theater. And what we want to do is accentuate that difference of it's right there in your face, anything can happen. How cool is it when you go to a theater with only 40 seats, with the audience is a foot away from you, and they put on an amazing play. It's right in your face. I've seen good theater from far away, and there's a lot you have to do for that, but this is right there. And yeah, I like that.
So a lot of people have been asking about where you see the company in the coming years. Any ideas for future projects and plans?
Always future projects. One thing that we're really focusing on as a company is organizing our company. We've been doing shows for these 10 years and just putting on show after show after show, and we're continuing to work on getting a better sense of structure in our company, getting more information out to the public, letting them know about the shows. Our actual upcoming season for 2008 and 2009, we've landed on a theme. Every year we've been having a theme which helps us get a little more structure to what we do so the audiences know what they can expect. Our season theme for next year is it's called A Year in the Life of Almost. And it's just talking about a lot of plays about almost. We haven't selected the season yet, but there will be almost. Stay tuned.
So tell me about this new play, A Syllabus of Errors. I hear it's a world premiere?
It is a world premiere, and I couldn't be more excited about doing this play. I feel like this particular play is a long time coming, not because it took so long to write, but because for all of 1111's existence, we've been doing a lot of my plays, and then an occasional old play or an occasional something else. And this was the first time that we really got to develop a really good writer, where someone was pretty good at writing, and then we gave them an opportunity through our company to cultivate that skill. And the product ends up being amazing. And this is what we've wanted for so long, is just, it's giving someone a chance to grow, and boy, has she grown. The play's amazing, as written, and hopefully we can do it justice.
So the writer you're talking about is Jen Dubois. How did you meet Jen? How did you know her?
Well, I met Jen, actually, we were random Craigslist roommates. She was still a student at Tufts. I was doing my vagabond wandering around Boston, and we met through that, and she asked me about my plays. I told her I did plays, and she was really interested. I was wondering why she was so interested, and finally I found out she had the secret passion of writing short stories. And I get that a lot, a lot of people, oh, I'm secretly a writer, I'm secretly a movie actor. She was the first one that was really, really good. And she was so shy about giving me that story, and I read it, and I was like, absolutely blown away. And, and it goes across the mediums. She's not just a great fiction writer, she's a great playwright.
And why in the round? Your last two plays have been in the rounds.
Well, that goes back to really the intimacy thing we've been talking about. Is what I like about the round is that the audience is right there, whereas opposed to even a set of 6 bleachers, to me, is even just a little too far away. In the round, you have 2 rows, in a 50-seat theater. The space lends itself well to being in the round. You can see into the world a little bit more, where on a proscenium stage you have a lot of actors worrying about cheating out towards the audience, and it seems a little bit artificial. Now, there are some rules that you have to follow when you're in the round, but it's more natural. You can be, and as an audience member, you feel like you're looking in on action that's a world that's really happening, and that's sort of our goal. Where the proscenium, no matter how you toss the dice, it still feels a little bit like a play, and it feels a little bit artificial.
So this season, as you mentioned, has a theme as well. And
Yep.
this season is Leaving Youth, is that correct?
That is correct.
What made you choose Syllabus of Errors as the final play in the Leaving Youth segment?
Well, to be honest, we had originally chosen a musical that was all about leaving youth, and we got really excited about that, and it just didn't work out. There were a lot of roadblocks, hurdles that we couldn't get around, and then we're sort of sitting there thinking, what could we do? And I'd asked Jen about a year and a half ago, as soon as she got done her last play, could you write another one? And it took her a little bit of time, and finally said, you mentioned that play about the brother in Arizona. How's that doing? She said, it's coming along, and she sent me a draft, and I read the draft, and it was phenomenal. And the play, it's about a professor in a midlife crisis. It's about a student in that it's about 4 different characters I could probably count. They're all leaving youth in some different point. We have a 20-year-old that's leaving her youth. We have a guy in a midlife crisis that's really leaving his youth, and the professor. And then we have an older professor who's 60 years old, and he's retiring, and he's leaving another sort of youth. All in their minds, they're in a different stage of that.
So turning more to you, we know that you're a writer and a director and an actor. Which do you prefer, directing your own work or somebody else's work?
That's a tough question, because not to be egomaniacal, but I write plays because I love seeing those stories happen. And so I tend to get really excited about my plays. But then as soon as I just directed The Seagull, and as soon as I got into the world, I got so excited. It takes me a second to go, oh my God, this is amazing, and actually 10 times better than anything I've written, and then I get really excited. This play in particular, I've had the most fun about the actual play as I've ever had, and I've probably directed 30, a ton of plays, and this is the first one of someone else's, of a new play that I was like, oh my God, this has to be seen, and it's been a blast to just try to do someone's great work justice. So.
As a writer,